What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Rob back again with another video. Today we're going to talk about the Snyderverse being restored. Hit that intro. Hey, what's up, everybody? How's it going today? Hopefully everybody's having a phenomenal day. Today I want to sit back and just kind of talk from the heart. Talk from the heart about restoring the Snyderverse. Man, I have never seen so much discourse and fandom. Well, that's not true, man. That's not true. I did live through the Last Jedi Star Wars era. So maybe it's just something that happens every 4 to 5 years. But this restore the Snyderverse thing is getting really insane. To the point now where I'm just going to come out and be completely honest with everybody. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not Nostradamus. I can't see the future. I'm not Miss Cleo. You can't call me for your free reading. No, I'm not. I don't know where to stand on this. I will say this, though. After everything that's been going on with the Saudi Arabia being able to purchase EA and pay for WrestleMania and all this stuff, I went from 0% chance that the Snyderverse is going to be restored to like a 15 and 20% chance. And you might be thinking like, man, 15-20% chance, this guy still has no clue. Like, that's a huge leap, going from 0 to 15 to 20% chance. Right? And the reason why it goes from 15 to 20% chance is because we don't know exactly what's going to happen. Like, if Paramount, Netflix purchase it, like, then James Gunn is going to be safe. But if the Saudis purchase it, like, we just do not know. I don't know. You don't know. Regardless of what some of these experts in the field say, they don't know either. Like, you know, it's just one of those.
And that's what I've said so many times, that we have to take everything with a grain of salt. Like, I see it from both sides. I'm a Snyder fan, but I see some Snyder fans going crazy. Like, every single report which comes out, they're like cheering and they're like, oh, it's gonna happen. I'm like, let's take everything with a grain of salt. Yes, it does look like the Snyderverse is gonna get restored, and for that I'm extremely happy. But I just do not want to get my hopes up, because this has happened before. So I'm a little cautious when it comes to this whole discussion with the Snyderverse. I'm just like, I want to see it and I want it to be restored. And personally, I would love to see another Henry Cavill movie. That would be great, but let's pump the brakes, let's wait, and let's not count our eggs before they hatch.
We live in different times. It's all about the money. And when it comes to Saudi, they've shown that they have tons of money that they can throw around, and they can just get whatever they want. They want WrestleMania? Here's money. Give us WrestleMania. They want EA? Here's some. Give us EA. So that's one part of it. But also, it's one of those things where I just can't wrap my head around how it would work. Let's say, hypothetically, we live in a situation where Saudi Arabia does end up making this thing happen in reality. So what's going to happen with Gal Gadot? Because Gal Gadot is from Israel. She's very opinionated about her heritage. So we have that one.
I agree. That is a problem. I do agree with that. Maybe she has to... that is something that I didn't even think about.
So we have that one aspect of it. You have Ezra Miller in the situation that he had going on. So how could you actually restore the Snyderverse when you have key members in the Snyderverse that... What you think? You think Saudi Arabia is just gonna like turn the cheek on Gal Gadot being from Israel? And not only that, you see when WrestleMania is being, well, not WrestleMania, but when they do like Crown Jewel and stuff over in Saudi Arabia, like, the women is dressed head to toe in clothing. You're not allowed to show any skin. So let's say hypothetically they do turn their head on, like, okay, we're not going to worry about Gal Gadot. She can come back, whatever. And then, so Wonder Woman is then going to be fully clothed in a bodysuit. Like, there's so many, like, people, I feel, are so in love with the Snyderverse that they don't look at, like, the logic and repercussions of what this stuff is. You know, like, the last thing you want to do is kind of sell your soul to Saudi Arabia, and just because you want to restart the Snyder, like, you are so...
We can't speak about them on this channel, but there are certain people which run the banks, and those people, they're the ones which are funding all of this right now. So we've already sold our IP to these people. So it's just, I guess, the devil you know compared to the devil you don't.
I've said this so many times. Like, we have the DCU right now, and James Gunn made Superman, and some people love it, some people don't like it, and that's fine. There's going to be other directors, there's going to be other writers, there's going to be other creatives that create within the DCU, and I think these people need to give them a chance. They need to see what is going to be created within the DCU that isn't being led by James Gunn before anybody can sit there and say the DCU is a failure.
Like, you are so in love with the idea of restore the Snyderverse that you were willing to, and I'm not saying Saudi Arabia is the devil, but you are willing to sell your soul to Saudi Arabia or the devil itself or whoever. You're willing to sell your soul in order to get what you want, and it's just the movie franchise, right? No one was more heartbroken after Amazing Spider-Man 2 than me that Andrew Garfield wasn't coming back for Spider-Man 3. I did not boycott Tom Holland, right? I was like, okay, I can see the logical idea why they recast. They want to go in this different direction. But I guess that's just me being more of an adult, and that's funny, you know.
Okay, let's pause it there. We have to go back in history and look at what happened to Snyder. We have a problem with the way that Snyder exited Warner Brothers. That is the biggest problem that we have. If your daughter dies and then they push you out, that is a problem. That's not how we treat our directors at DC. We as a fandom, we have to stand against that because Snyder was treated very, very badly. So I understand his perspective, but what we're saying as Snyder fans is just give us what we paid for. Because you promised us something. You said, if you support this movie, you're gonna get more of it. We supported the movies. The movies were very successful. Then we did not get that specifically. So it is the exact same thing as buying a product and not getting the product which you bought.
I guess that's just me being more of an adult. And that's funny, you know, since I am branded the parasite guy who, by the way, I was going through a divorce and I was heavily drinking when that happened, but no one wants to talk about that. They just want to brand me the parasite guy and me being racist, even though most of my cast members are black, but I digress. But, you know, I think it's kind of funny how people just can't sit and look at the logic of things rather than automatically just assume that they want the Snyderverse, they don't care what happens. You know, instead of going, hey, you know, it didn't work, they went a different direction, whatever, like, I either support it or I don't. But no, they don't look at it that way at all. It's like, we want the Snyderverse. And some of these people, man, are some of the most basement-dwelling, mama titty-sucking people I have ever seen in my life. There's this one dude on Cosmic Book News, and I swear it looks like he never even touched a titty. So I don't know, like what representation you were going for here. But I think, and I'm not talking about everybody, I think a lot of people, including myself, feel like Henry Cavill definitely got the short end of the stick. That Henry Cavill really got ushered out. We all agree on that. I don't think you can find a single person that will not disagree that Henry Cavill got the short end of the stick. But he moved on. Ben Affleck moved on. Everybody moved on except for the fan base and apparently Zack Snyder. I think you either like the new Superman or you don't. There's iterations of Superman that I don't like. And there's iterations of Superman I do like. You either like it or you don't.
Yeah, and that's what happened. We chose not to support it. You see, the studio has a big problem right now. Because if they do not listen to us as a fan base, we're not going to support it.
And where this conversation stems from is we sit there and everybody loves to talk about how if we bring Snyder back, it's going to fix everything. Well, no, because there was a lot of people who did not like what Zack Snyder was doing. And there's a lot of people that did like what he was doing. And there's no denying that. Just like with James Gunn, there's a lot of people that like it, a lot of people that don't. But there is a brighter upside to what is going on with the DCU than what would be going on under Zack Snyder.
If you just look at the critics, they destroyed Snyder when he came out with all of his movies. They were literally just destroying every single movie. And it didn't matter if Snyder actually tried. That didn't matter. So I'm like, it was okay for you guys to attack Snyder when he was at DC. Then it was fine, right? Then it was, let's reboot this. We hate this. It's too dark. People were moaning and they were bitching all of the time, right? But when it comes to James Gunn right now, then it's like, you know what? Give him a shot. Give him a chance. We really like this. Why should we give him a shot, and why should we give him a chance when you never gave Zack Snyder a shot or a chance?
But this whole notion of restore the Snyderverse is starting to get to the point where it's starting to get like a little cultist, where you guys are like a cult and you're willing to burn people at the stake. You are literally Tanis Baratheon. Not Tanis. His name wasn't Tanis, but Rob Baratheon's brother. Oh my god, I can't remember his name, but you guys remember if you watch Game of Thrones, Robert Baratheon's brother literally burned people at the stake, burned his own daughter at the stake because he thought it was going to give him powers to take over Winterfell and become the king of Westeros. You know, like he was willing to burn people at the stake to get, like, you people are willing to burn people at the stake just to get the Snyderverse to be restored. It's
the exact same thing that they're criticizing us for, they're doing. Do I agree with him that there are certain Snyder fans which are spewing a lot of hate? Yes. There are a lot of Gunn fans which also spew a lot of hate. I think hate comes from both sides, and it's just like that when you're very passionate about something. Then you become very protective and you want your side to win. So I understand it's the clash of two teams, but I just think that let the best director win. That's why we can always look at the numbers. Whether you like Snyder or you hate him, you can always look at the numbers. I say, let us go with what is more profitable.